Okay, this is the last video in this little series of making a game with Pygame and Python. The last thing we need to do is to finish writing out this game over function. So right now, all it does is just shut everything off when your character loses all their health. So now let's go into this little section and set up some of the text that we're going to display on the screen. The first one being just simple game over text. So we'll set a variable called game over text, and then use that font constant, and then render. So what we'll say here is very simple, game over, and then we'll set true. And last time I said that this true Boolean represents whether you want to turn anti-aliasing on or off. For our purposes, we'll just leave it on, and then we give it another gray color. So what that does is it tells us game over on the screen, and then it gives us this light gray color. Next, we're going to have our score text again. I know we defined that in another section, but here we want to make sure that this is the most up-to-date. So we'll do an F string, and then same thing, survived for score divided by 60. And that'll give us the seconds that our character has survived. And we'll go ahead and even write that down to make it clear. Seconds, just like that. Same thing as before, true, and we'll use 200. You could set this up as another constant, probably at the top, and then just write in gray here or something like that. All right, and then let's go to our last thing here, which is the zombie count. So we want to alert our user or player with however many zombies were on the screen when their character died. And we'll set that to be another F string. Make it say zombie count, colon, and use our variable, zombie count. Just like that. Same thing, we'll set it to true, and then use that gray color. And feel free to play with these numbers to see what other colors you can get out there when you're rendering text. Okay, so that's all of our text that we need to render, and then now we need to actually draw it to the screen. So first we'll draw this right onto the display. This time we'll use that constant instead of passing something to the function up here. We'll do fill, and then we want the whole screen to just be black. So we'll set that to 0, 0, 0. That means 0 red, 0 green, and 0 blue. And then on top of this black background, we're going to draw our game over text. Okay. So once we have the game over text, now we have to tell it where we're going to actually put that. So we'll set up a few parameters inside here. So first thing is width divided by 2, and that's going to put it in the middle. And then we'll take our game over text, and then we're going to use a function on it, which is called get width. So get underscore width, and then divide that by 2. So there we have the width divided by 2, and then subtract the half of the width of our game over text. And that should put our text in the middle of the screen, at least for the horizontal axis, or the x-axis. And then once we have that, we're going to do the same thing for the height. So we'll take height, which is the entire height of the screen, divide that by 2, and then add zombie count text. And if we use get width for the width of this rectangle of text, we can use get height to get the height of the rectangle. And then I'll multiply that by 2 or actually no, we just use get height and then divide that by 2. So there, that should be pretty much centered completely in the middle of the screen. And I think we actually want this to be minus instead of adding. Adding will put it further down the screen. Okay, so we have this. And next, we're going to blit a couple of the other texts onto the screen. So we'll do display dot blit, and this time we'll do the score text. And pretty much the same principle here. We take the width divided by 2, and then subtract the score text width. So get width, and call it, and then divide that by 2. And then we'll do the similar thing with the height. So height divided by 2, but this time we'll do plus. And what that does is it moves our text a little bit down so that it's not overlaying on top of the game over text. So we do height divided by 2 plus score text, and then get height. And here we're going to multiply it a little bit by 1.5, and that'll just help things not collide. And let's see, I think we can just do the same thing. So Shift Alt down, and instead of our score text, it's the last thing, our zombie count text. And we'll take the width divided by 2 minus, not score text, but zombie count text dot get width divided by 2, and then height also divided by 2, and then change it once more over here. Count divided by 2, and then to make it even further down, we'll do that times 2.5. So now we have all of the text that we want to show on the screen, but beneath that we still have all of our characters there taking up memory and being in the game, even though you can't see it. So to get rid of them and just free up some space in memory, we'll do for character in all sprites. And remember, this is everything that's on the screen, hero, zombies, everything. All sprites, and then character dot kill. And what that'll do is just clear everything out. And then once we've done that, we'll do pygame dot display update to actually make sure everything is drawn properly. And then I want to just pause it there. So we'll do time dot sleep and pass 5. And what that does is it pauses everything for about 5 seconds, and then we'll just close everything out. So pygame dot quit, and then sys dot exit, just like that. So that's everything for our game over function. Let's see if that is working. So we run the file and have our character run into this zombie. It's like that, and there we go. So we have game over, and then it shows how long we were alive and what the zombie count was, and then it should, yep, just like that, it should close out. So that's everything for this this simple little file. Again, I'm not like an expert or anything. I'm just kind of learning on my own, and I just thought that maybe somebody else might be able to use this and kind of get started with making games with Pygame. There's still a couple areas that I think I could improve on probably, namely things like, the step count over here. Instead of repeating it, I could just add that at the bottom, or maybe create a different class for just the whole game loop in general, and that way I could have different screens, like a starting screen, and maybe choose levels or something like that. But yeah, I hope that this was helpful. And if you want to look at the source code or download some of the assets, that'll be on GitHub, linked below. And yeah, thanks for watching.